Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Bone podcast, where we discuss all things crypto market. That includes the majors like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, meme coins, and of course, NFTs. Today, we're going to discuss a surge in Binance meme coin volume on the back of a few new tokens. We're going to talk about a wildly accurate Bitcoin prediction from November and a 444,000 price prediction. And we're going to talk whether or not NFT season can be returning. Today, I'm joined by Clemente and Signal. It's been a while, Signal. How you feeling today?
Yeah, feeling good, Ray. Feeling good. Feeling blue. Maybe feeling a little bit blue today, but feeling good. No, markets have
you
been...
You do look blue. You do look blue,
know,
Signal, I have to say.
I told you, like, for whatever reason, my camera's coming in blue today, but it's all good. It's all good. People on Spaces don't have to look at me, only the YouTube audience. No, it's feeling good. The market's been pretty quiet, actually. So I've been kind of like just DCAing really more into Bitcoin at this price. I think it's really weird. Like, if you look at what's happening in the macro in terms of Bitcoin, in terms of institutional activity, country activity, looking at the big name players, everything is pointing into a direction that I just don't think we're gonna be holding this area for the long term. Let's say, I think 12 months from now, like, price action is going to look particularly different. Can't say what that is, but I think it's going to be over 100K easily. And yet, I don't know, CT just feels really like, I don't feel like taking my news from CT at this moment. I think CT is really disconnected from like actual real news of what's happening in the world right now. But I've been DCAing more at these prices currently. So I'm enjoying it. Just patient, waiting for Bitcoin to do what Bitcoin's going to do.
Yeah. I mean, I think I tend to agree with you in terms of like the market isn't going to sit here for a while. I think it's going to break one way or the other. And I think it's going to break pretty violently. I tend to want to be a bull here in this scenario. When I say, you laughing?
Why is your camera? I feel like your camera is higher up than normal.
Higher?
Like, you actually are like fully going Diglett mode right now. There we go. That's better. It's still, you want it to be, basically you want your head to be, you want there to be like a little bit of room between the top of your head to the top of the camera.
I do get a bit motion sickness, Ray, looking at your camera sometimes with the whole
trying to get rid of it. Like, the software doesn't work.
This is better. This is better.
Comments.
Before it was literally like this.
Got the wrong Pokemon there. That being said, we want to thank the partners for today's show. Awaken.tax, now Awaken.pro. They're trying to move beyond just taxed software. I've been using their portfolio product. It's been pretty nice. I've got my wallets in here for my tax purposes. I'm importing everything, getting all my wallets in, getting all that stuff, Fantasy Top, getting in main wallets, etc. Super easy to link wallets. Look at all these like 11,000 transactions on this wallet, multiple thousand transactions on all the Solana meme coin bot wallets. We got our Blast wallet with over 1,300 transactions. Super easy to get them in. Finds all your transactions. Lets you go through transactions, figure out what's going on. Showing the audience live what I've been doing in terms of all of my transactions here. Crazy stuff. And it lets you know which transactions are labeled. Of all of those transactions, 15,335 transactions were labeled for me. 99% of all transactions, only 103 high priority transactions that I need to take a look at. That makes things so much easier when you're trying to do your taxes. Trying to do taxes if you're somebody who has this many transactions, if you're somebody who trades meme coins, you're going to have this many transactions, is very, very difficult. And Awaken Tax makes it very, very easy. They also have a portfolio view that you can take a look at. It shows you what you have, where you have it, all of that. Nick found out that he had like 30K of like staked Solana somewhere that he like unstaked and like completely forgot about. So Awaken showed him that. Really good portfolio product. They're trying to build like the ultimate finance app for crypto. So why not import your wallets? Even if you're not utilizing the tax software, completely free to put your wallets and take a look at the portfolio. If you want to use it for taxes, I'd recommend it personally. Use our code BODOGOS, receive 20% off. If you go to the Twitter space, we have a convenient little link there, and I'm going to comment a link as well on YouTube if you do want to use Awaken. Clemente, you've been using Awaken. What can you tell me about it? How's it been for your taxes?
It's been great. I only had like 40 high priority transactions, right? So I don't know what kind of crazy shit you're doing on the blockchain. wild. I mean, you're acting, you're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But no, it was great. It was great. I actually meant to do all of my taxes this weekend, but I got caught up in some other stuff. But Awaken makes it super easy to do it. Yeah, I just like it as a little portfolio thing too. I've been checking in, like I just go to Awaken now like once or twice a week just to see what my portfolio value is and how much money I'm losing in the bear market or in the kind of bear downturn. So that's been nice. But hopefully we see it go the other way in the coming weeks, months, etc.
Yeah, that's the hope. That's the hope indeed. My camera seems to have lowered again. I'm digleting again. We've got a ton to talk about today. So, why don't you kick it off with the weather report, and then we'll kind of jump into the meat of the show here.
Yeah, absolutely, Ray. Let's get into it. On Monday, March 17th, the majors are up slightly on the day with Bitcoin over 83,000, Ethereum over 1,900, and Solana at $128. Pretty quiet the weekend with the Bitcoin action, but over the past 24 hours, top three stories: Binance Smart Chain passes Solana to lead weekly DEX volume. CZ buys 2 meme coins, and Binance announces 0% trading fees using the Binance wallet through to September. Over on Twitter, Kaito's Twitter got hacked and posts that their token supply was compromised. The founder Ray, you're blocking my words on a weather report, but the founder something hacker to previous DB Twitter hack. And then lastly, NFTs, are they back? Obviously, you had Sam Spratt's mask going out. The last sale was for 7.2 ETH, so around 13,000 USD. And Good Vibes Club last sale is sitting at 0.65 ETH floor. That is all for the weather report. It is back to you folks in the studio.
Excellent weather report as always, Signal. An extra special today because I did not format the weather report correctly, and Signal kind of just went off of like just completely like random information there to put that together. Absolute great job by her, and apologies from me for anybody who had to listen through any kind of mistake there. But I think she handled that very well.
That wasn't the annoying bit, Ray. It was you just highlighting and your like cursor going everywhere and blocking all the words. that was the hardest bit.
Oh yeah, I panicked a bit. I was like, oh no, I didn't correctly like to word it out. I'm like trying to get on the links and everything. But let's just jump onto this NFT story. Good Vibes Club. Talk about good vibes here. We almost talked about this on the show last Wednesday, I believe. We had Kix on, and I said, Kix, here's 3 topics. Let's pick one of these to discuss. And it was like 2 other things, and then this were the 3 topics. And he goes, let's just do the 2 other things. Just completely skip the NFTs. I said, okay. These minted 0.069, I believe, was the mint price. It was anybody can get in. It was like an auction style mint after there was like an initial allow list. So like that's like a 7x from mint right now on these on the ETH side, 0.49 ETH. These are Good Vibe Club. They are behind, or the team behind them is the award-winning animation studio Toast, launched in partnership with Super Rare. So it's very art focused. They have a number of like art based and like very respected like advisors. And like the way you like know, I should have talked about this last week, is that Brian Brinkman was in the YouTube comments being like, yo, you're going to talk about Good Vibe Club. Yo, you're going to talk about Good Vibe Club. And he doesn't just sit here shilling his NFT bags. He is somebody in the art space who you should be listening to. So love to see it. Love to see NFTs pumping like this. Clemente, what do you make of these?
So I have a couple thoughts. The first off is, basically they did a public auction for 2,700 of these. So it's about 35% or whatever of the total supply of 6969. And first off, like, I think these were in hindsight a pretty, not an obvious cook, but like it is like you can't judge these based off of Twitter sentiment, right? Like I think this flew under the radar for a lot of people, including ourselves. And I think part of that is bullish because it leads to like more organic price action. And when I say organic, like more gradual increases versus like when you get a lot of FOMO and like a massive pump, right? Like if this thing went from 0.069 to like 0.4 in the first, 12 hours or whatever it was, I like that chart looks beautiful. I think this allows for really the true believers to get rewarded, because you could have got a lot of these. Like I saw multiple people that minted like 50 of these. And they took their time. Like the art looks good. I'm not a buyer here necessarily, but like anyone could have gotten in on this. And I think it goes to show that no matter what the market conditions are, like there's still good plays to be made, and don't sleep on the NFT market. I personally have been talking a little bit of shit about Ethereum and Ethereum NFTs in general. And I really like that these guys minted on mainnet, or like the L1 ETH, not on like base, not on abstract or any bullshit like that, because you segment your total like your total audience so much when you go to an L2 versus going to ETH. Right now, the downs, you don't get the downside of the L1 right now of like super high gas fees, right? Anyone can go in and go in here. And as much as I think over time, the NFT kind of collections or NFTs are going to be segmented across chains, right now, ETH continues to be the strongest place for NFTs. So it's great to see this happen. I mean, they ran up to, they're at half an ETH right now, continuing to run. So it's awesome to see.
Yeah, I love to see it. Speaking about ETH mainnet NFTs, another one that we've actually talked about over the past couple of weeks are the massive Luchi. These ran, I think, easy top blast of these around 8 ETH the other day. These are up 7.3 ETH. I believe these minted for like sub 2, I want to say. Like 1.6 maybe was the mint price. It was a very hard allow list to get part of. Price was immediately in the profit for anybody who minted. This is by Sam Spratt. So they had this Masks of Luchi. There was a game associated with it, sort of like his monument game, where like different holders were able to submit like thought pieces, etc. And then he picked a couple that won and got like special masks. So yeah, even looking at this over the last this is at least the 14th, so over the last 3 days, 4.5 ETH 3 days ago, pumped up to over 8. We saw it get all the way up to 8.7 over the weekend, at 6.3 now. Pretty bullish for ETH NFTs.
Yeah, mint price on the Sam Spratt was 2.5 ETH.
Okay,
so
2.5.
They were sitting at, I think, post mint like 3.5 ETH. I was looking at that. I'm like, oh, it's like $7,000 for one of these. I was like, should I buy one? And I didn't like look into it more, but I saw them at 2x the price. I love how easy top blasted these. And easy top blasted.
No research.
Easy top blasting fine art is just like where he gets wrecked. It's so funny.
Ridiculous.
But like, to be honest, I mean, Monument Games now feels like, it feels really recent, but I'm pretty sure it's 2023, like Monument Games, August. I remember it was deep summer. And I think, the reason why we're seeing the price action on this today is just simply because like Sam and the team there have done a phenomenal job of keeping like the community engaged and interested in the art, in the lore, in the technology, like all of that. He has such a strong community, and he's managed to just keep like through the entire bear plus the bull, and now this period which we're in now, he's managed to keep a really strong community, and this is why even in this current conditions, these masks, this mint has done so well. And like I've seen many people in my timeline have been like, yeah, I got one, like super excited about it. And we like, if we carry on in this period of, perhaps we see Bitcoin going down lower, if it goes into the 70s or even lower, but like lower, I think it becomes really clear like which artists, which NFT communities, which meme coins are like loved, because you don't have all the noise and just sort of like the confusion of people running around and just shouting and like yelling about their bags. In times like this, like you really see who are the strongest teams out there. And I think if we continue to have this like slow down, Luchi will just, these masks, and there's other fine art as well and other NFTs, which I think are just worth collecting for when the bull run finally comes back round, because these teams never left. They never left when it was bull, they never left when it was bear, and this is why these mints continue to do well. So even though Easy like top blasted this at 8 ETH, I would hold on to it for the long term.
But I don't think he will.
Bob Lucas too. Bob
no,
Lucas
he won't. He'll floor it. He's gonna floor it, of course.
Bobby just came in and dumped on his face. Bobby, I think, is the top holder of this project.
So he's on top last 1, 2, 3. There's been at least 4 other sales higher than his.
Got it.
But Easy though, I mean, it really becomes a question of or like someone like Easy, it becomes a question of, for example, he already has his punk. So that means he has a lot of ETH already locked up in what is considered to be like, like one of the number one NFTs you can have on the Ethereum blockchain, if not one of the best NFTs of all time. So it's a question of like, does he want to keep accumulating that category of NFTs, or does he just want to like, not hold anything else, just hold into his punk? And then that's how he has exposure to the NFT ecosystem in general, and then specifically through ETH. Even though the price action on punks has been, completely wild, he hasn't actually owned it for that long, and other holders have held it for years and have ridden that volatility, which just like paid off. So that's a decision that he needs to make. But he owns a punk. If you don't own a punk, I don't know, could Mask be a good way of like storing value over time there? I don't know. I can't answer that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if is Easy patient enough to hold ETH assets like this, these fine art ETH assets, because I know he's somebody who's like very trigger happy to dump if there is like a reversal in trend, etc. So I'm curious to see how long he's going to hold these.
He's going to sell it.
What's been interesting? Sorry, Clemente. I was going to say, like, what's been interesting is to see who now has been picking up punks, because it almost feels like in 2021, you had the G Money, you had sort of like the people who have been who were already established, and they have their punks, and everybody recognized them. Even to this day, they recognize them as that punk. And then now you're seeing people who have made money over the last couple of years, and now they're accumulating it. It's sort of like, that's like that new class of people are coming in. So like punks for me still seem like a really good place to be able to store ETH over time. And they just haven't, their aura just hasn't gone away. And I think being able to hold that since 2017, these came out, 2016, I can't remember the year, but being able to hold that for what will be 8 years now, almost, that's something that not many NFT collections have done.
Yep. Yeah, we definitely have seen some new entrants on crypto Twitter. I see Tyler D in the audience. He just got one. Greeny, one of our favorites on the show, picked up a punk. So we're seeing some of the CT guard grabbing some punks at these prices. I saw a handful of hoodies here go a couple days ago, which looked nice. 128 ETH sale and 135 ETH sale for a pair of hoodies on Friday. So that was super interesting as well. Yeah, I mean, punks continue to like slowly drop. We're looking at 73K in terms of USD value, 38.4 ETH right now in terms of what's for sale. Interesting to see what's going to happen there, and kind of where those are going to land. Switching gears, but staying on NFTs, Sea of Green over on ApeChain. Gob's up 16%, Deng's up 19%, Rilla's 45%, Trencher's on Ape 42%. All of this on the back of the ApeChain spotlight ending today. So essentially, we talked about this on the show as Alpha last week. ApeChain has this spotlight program where they're sweeping 250K worth of NFTs based on a leaderboard for Spotlight, where collectors basically vouch their points, which they earn through like ApeChain quests, 2 different collections. And then the 250,000 is going to be distributed between numbers 1 through 10 on this leaderboard. G's on Ape, Gob's on Ape, both pretty firmly in the top 2. Deng's right behind Gob's at number 3. Some other smaller collections that to keep your eyes out on. Chumps, Zards, DSNRS, Degen, Rillas, Wild Dogs. A lot of people competing for this number 10 spot as well. A lot of these are low kind of floor price collections that could really move the price. We live bought Dangs and Wild Dogs on the show on Friday. I'm still holding them. I'm holding a couple Gobs as well, since pretty fairly early on. We were shouting about them early. That's made by the lead engineer over at Yuga. But it's an interesting time to see this spotlight play out. There's going to be big sweeps today, so you have to be careful. If you're just trading these, you need to be very careful about like what you're doing here, because you don't want to be left holding the bag potentially afterwards. But there could be some interesting arbitrage over on ApeChain today, and there's going to be a ton of action when Spotlight ends at noon today. So I wanted to highlight that. Also wanted to pop over to Abstract, because I was surprised by some of these floor prices on Abstract as well. OCH Genesis Heroes all the way up to 0.384. That one's pretty big there. Bearish up 37% on the day, 0.17 ETH. Captain and Company's moved over from Blaster almost at 0.1. So we're seeing a ton of L2 NFT volume and some price movement there as well, kind of adding to this like NFT season base. Getting some requests for the leaderboard in the comments. I'll share that there. But yeah, I just wanted to bring up a couple other side chains that are seeing some NFT action. The one place that really isn't seeing NFT action right now is Solana, which is like kind of wild. most collections here have been like flat down in terms of high volume collections. SMB Gen 2 down to 23. Mad Lads are approaching 50. This makes me think like maybe is there an opportunity here? Retardo Cousins 6.5. Mate, are you interested at all in Solana NFTs at these levels?
I'm troubled with it because part of me thinks this is a great buy opportunity, like Retardo Cousins at what is it? He said 6 SOL. The problem with Retardo Cousins and the entire like Milady ecosystem is that there's like 500 derivatives and everyone just goes to mint, like create the new collection and go mint that. Like there's another one on Barachain. There's something on Hyperliquid coming. So like I'm not touching those. The problem with NFTs on Solana is that you're competing with meme coins. You're competing with a trader that like has this mindset of if I can make like $30 on this NFT, like I'll buy it, but you don't have the same level of like commitment to being a part of the community. So it's like almost figuring out what customer base, like if you think of these as just like products, right? And you think of the like demographics of Solana versus the demographics of like Ethereum versus like Bitcoin, etc. You can kind of figure out where NFTs are most likely to perform well, what types of NFTs, right? And Retardo Cousins, I wouldn't buy one. I wouldn't buy one for 6.8. I know, Ray, you like sold one around here and then they ended up running like 50 SOL, which is wild. I think at some point, Solana NFTs will inevitably perform well. It's just a matter of which ones. Mad Labs holding up at 50 SOL is great. But people on, like, I just look at NFTs on Solana. I look at NFTs in general as like a luxury asset. And until people feel rich again on the specific chain or feel rich again in general, they're not going to buy NFTs mostly, right? So with NFTs on Solana, you're looking at basically the chain that's been ravaged the most the last month and some change since the market downturn with meme coins, since most people were exposed to meme coins and kind of these traders getting rinsed. So they're not going to be buying NFTs. So I'm not too surprised actually by this downturn on the NFT season here.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, if NFTs come back in general, I think we do see volume return to Solana NFTs. But I don't think you want to try to like front run that until you see it on another chain. I don't think Solana NFTs are going to lead the NFT resurgence. I think it'll probably be something else. New chain, ETH mainnet, but I don't think Solana leads in terms of like giving us the signal to get back in. We've got a lot to talk about. We talked about NFTs for most of the show so far. Let me see where I want to jump next. I love this Bitcoin prediction poem. Did you see this Bitcoin prediction poem?
I saw a little bit of it.
Yeah, so this guy releases this poem. This is dropped back November 5th of last year, and he gives us a couple dates here. He gives us Thursday 11/7, January 16th, and then he gives us March 14th. And he has this little poem here. It's like talks about I'll just read it. When 84 becomes the base, Bitcoin calls will melt their face. This is how you get ahead. Buy IBIT calls in size instead. 10-1, you'll ride it up. The stock, it soars into the skies, then sell the call and exercise. And it kind of keeps going on. And it says like it's going to go up another 360K more. We're going to see $444,000 Bitcoin essentially. So the funny part about this is that he gives that third date of March 14th. Bitcoin's sitting at 84K on that date. The other two dates he gives of January 16th and November 7th are both like right around local tops or like right before like a run up on Bitcoin. So like really funny seeing this. And like, I mean, obviously it's a poem and it's not a time traveler. Like but it's just like funny to look at like what's happening here. And I think it kind of goes into what we were talking about earlier. Like, is this a base before a run up, or is this a base before we kind of like fall off? But love seeing bullish predictions on Bitcoin, calling for 444K here.
That is wild, 444K. Hey, but the guy was right. He got 84, right? And like, I think what's really interesting at the moment with is what Trump is trying to do is essentially for him to restart the economy. He has to put it through pain. He has to put it through pain with the tariff. We've lost Ray. He has to put it through pain with the tariffs and his essentially more, let's call it more isolationist policies and just prioritizing American interests first. It's very headline grabbing what he's trying to do. It's very different from previous administrations. And it feels like although a lot of people disagree with the actions that he's taken, in 12 months from now, I think people will turn around and say, oh, okay, Trump was right. We are now in a better place. And I think this is going out more long term, but I actually do think if Trump is able to implement the policies that he wants to do, in 4 years' time, America will be in a much, much better place than it is when he inherited the economy a few months ago. And then because he's done that, I think you'll see other countries as well then try to follow America. So there's always going to be this like 4-year lag across the world. But essentially, this is why I'm just kind of like chill about where Bitcoin is. It has to follow macro policy. It is following macro policy at the moment. There's a lot of move on inflation. There's a lot of wiggle room on rates. So there's many levers for the economists out there to pull and to put the economy back on track. And essentially, do you believe like Trump wants his legacy to end on a high? Yeah, it does. It's his last ever one. I don't think he wants the American economy, and I'm talking about the stock market or crypto, considering he's shown that he has a strong interest in it, looking bad when he leaves at the end of these 4 years. So this is why I'm just like, this is small turbulence along the way to getting to our long-term destination. Do I believe it's 444K? I hope it is. I don't mind if it is, but even if it's like 150, 250, everything is moving in the right direction. And I just find it outstanding that given what's happening in the world, CT is still bearish, given where we were 18 months ago. Sometimes I think like the milestones we make along the way, like people aren't just looking back and being like, oh crap, we just climbed that entire mountain and more. Everyone just keeps looking up and being like, why aren't we at the top? Why aren't we at 250K? And that's why I think there's a lot of noise on CT that sometimes you just have to like not look at and just sort of ignore it and just look at the cold hard facts of what is happening in 2025. And we're only in March. The guy's been in like power for 4 months, so that seat is still getting warmed up.
Yeah, that seat is still getting warmed up, but he's doing a very good job of shaking things up. If you remember a couple of weeks ago, or maybe last week, we talked about Arthur Hayes' piece on how Trump was planning to shake up the U.S. economy and try to get Washington and Powell to start the cutting cycle and quantitative easing. It all started with basically hinged around Doge and like DC. So I saw some interesting stats from the Kobisi letter talking about unemployment real estate in DC. So looking at this chart here, unemployment filings hit 3 times their 2024 average in Washington, D.C. Absolutely to be expected. A huge spike once the Doge layoffs began. And then we also saw like a huge spike in basically DC real estate. So more homes for sale than ever. We're seeing a 21% lower price from January 2020. Like we're seeing like huge like pain in DC essentially. And that was like the foundation of what Arthur Hayes was saying is going to start like spurring on the government to start getting into this QT because they're going to be feeling it more in DC around where these laws are being enacted. So it's interesting to see this. We're definitely seeing like it take shape in terms of the policy. So it's just really a matter of like, when does this break? Rate cuts this year, still 3 or more is the favorite. 2 cuts or less is around like 45% right now. 3 cuts or more is about 55%. No cut this week. We have a rate cut FOMC meeting. We're going to get news on Wednesday, the 19th this week. Jerome Powell will speak afterwards. I think that is going to be a very key component to like where we are in the cutting and quantitative easing cycle, because he could kind of like set the tone for the next cut. Because right now the odds of a cut in May are low. It's like June will be like the first potential cut. So listening to him and like seeing a shift on Wednesday could be a big factor and like could shake up both the equities and the crypto market. So that's one we like really have to watch coming up on Wednesday. Yeah, so I just wanted to bring that up. I don't know if you had any thoughts on like the rate cutting cycle signal, or like where we are in the macro picture, or like if you're making any plays here, just holding pat. But I'm curious what your thoughts are.
I mean, the most important thing is that, like, I think it was I want to say like 12 to 18 months ago, where you had inflation super high at like 7%, and then interest rates were like really, really low. Like, you don't you don't want that. You don't want to be in a position where you don't have monetary policy triggers to be able to move and change the economy, which is why we went through so much pain over the last sort of like 12 to 18 months. But now it's actually the reverse. So because inflation has come down and interest rates are up, it means that there's wiggle room to move these pulleys, if you like, which is why like Trump can implement these policies, which at the outset seem very aggressive, and everyone's like, oh, inflation's going to come back, but it doesn't matter because they can still lever interest rates very easily. So again, going back to what I was saying before, there's a lot of room for them to be able to cut rates. And I think they eventually will. I know Arthur Hayes has been talking about QE for a long time now. I'm a big, I think he's a really good sort of like critical thinker on CT because he understands macro and crypto extremely well. And he's been calling for these like QE to be implemented probably for the last like 12 months. And I think it's going to happen. It just hasn't happened on his timeline. But I do think we are going to see rate cuts coming in later again this year, but probably more towards the end of the year rather than now.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that kind of like lines up with what the prediction markets are saying. Moving on a little bit, I want to talk about some meme coin stuff, and I want to get Clemente's perspective on this one. I don't know if you've read this though, but did you see the Jelly Jelly founder called the token a net positive?
Yeah, maybe we can read it out. Well, yeah, I mean, he basically called it a net positive. He said that most of the people, or like a large portion of the users on his on the new app, were Jelly Jelly holders. So they said we got 10,000 signups in a day. It, meaning the token, brought an incredible amount of awareness. I've never thought of using this whole meme coin thing as a form of promotion, but it's starting to become very clear to me. Ray, I'm going to be honest. I agree wholeheartedly with what he said. Wow. Couldn't agree more.
Okay. I mean, so from the standpoint of somebody in Web 2, I think I completely agree. I think he might just not realize how Web 3 works, essentially, because he comes out, they like basically ask him if they're going to use meme coins to like develop the project. Like, is there going to be another meme coin? He's like, it's coming out of somebody's pocket in zero some way, and I don't think that feels great. Now, again, I am really open to it down the line. So like talking about maybe another meme coin potentially for Jelly Jelly. If you look at this from like a Web3 perspective, I mean, this is a pretty much like a disaster. Almost all holders are down unless you bought it at this bottom and you've like kind of like rode up this little retrace over the last week or so.
But this is all meme coins that are up. Like this, all meme coins that have ever basically been launched outside of a few. I like them launching. It's not their fault that this thing ran up to $250 million. They sure, they made mistakes. I 100% agree. But like, as long as they didn't pocket money from this, like as long as there was no bad intent from like giving access to people or giving tokens before they announced it or all this stuff, I don't view this as a net negative. Personally, I think there will be a day very soon where artists, for example, will launch meme coins with their album launches. And they'll be like, dude, I'm going to launch this meme coin. People can do whatever they want with it. I own none of it. And if you're a believer, you can buy this token, and then like they share a link to buy the meme coin in the like album link. So I don't think like the Jelly Jelly stuff, it was always clearly a meme, but we were so riled up and obsessed with internet capital markets that it was no one but us that decided to bid this thing up to 250 million. It should have never gotten to that point, but it was this new and novel thing. But I do think that meme coins as a marketing strategy, as long as it's not extractive, are very interesting.
Yeah, this is interesting. I'd love to get your take in a second, PO, on like, I don't know if you've been following along with this, and welcome to the show this morning. They actually do include Jellycoin. There's like a 3/11, so March 11 town hall from last week, a recap, and they do include like a section on the actual meme coin, which is like promising for the company, but it's like limited to like, hey, there's this whale who bought over $800,000 worth of the coin, and they're like, okay, we're gonna try to remain like focused on product and not really on the meme coin itself. So it's interesting to see like what's going on here. I would love to hear your takes on these like meme coins as like a marketing like engine, essentially, PO, versus like how we view them in Web3 as basically like needs to have utility, needs to continually go upwards to rug, etc.
This guy's he's from tech, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's not going to stick with it. It's impossible because he just won't. And it over like, think about it, like 8 months is a long time for this, but it's a short time in terms of like life and in terms of building stuff. So like 8 months from now, he's just not going to be doing anything jelly related because you don't make any money off of it. It's not like a sustainable business vertical. So all meme coins just go to zero. Like they just do. And so now if the question is like launch a meme coin or not, the answer is just don't do it. The people that it works out for are the people that launch it. If they do it right, if they launch it right. And I'm assuming that he made money off Jelly. That's why he launched it. All these people want to launch at that time. Random people really wanted to launch meme coins. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you did see a lot of people, including like Nikita Beer, even getting involved with the conversation, and people like asking him to launch a meme coin before everything kind of went south with like.
But he didn't. He didn't launch one.
No, he did not, which was a good decision on his point. Yeah, I mean, so that's interesting. And like talking about even launching another meme coin is like super telling to like what a Web 2 founder entering Web 3 like thinks. He's like, oh, look at all this attention we got when we launched this meme coin. Everyone was talking about us and we made all these people money and it ran to such a high valuation and blah, 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 blah.
I don't hate it. I'm kind of on their side. What's like, as long as you say this is strictly a meme coin, we're not making any money from it, and you can prove it and somehow do it in a way where it's not super extractive and like the best people win, the best trader, like all these hardcore trenders all win and they dump the shit out of it in Christmas trees. If you can somehow figure out a gradual way to do this, it is an interesting marketing thing. There is a stigma of like, you launch a meme coin, you're now an indentured servant to this asset for the rest of your life,
which is the baseline expectation from every single crypto holder, and that's not going to change.
Yeah, looks like a Christmas tree to me.
I mean, this is tough. Like
people will bring it up for years. They'll bring it up like 6 years from now.
Yeah. So they're kind of screwing that front, which is like why you shouldn't launch a meme coin right now with these like expectations, because you're just like stuck with this thing. But I get where he's coming from. I do. But then he also is just out of touch with meme coins in general. But yeah, I mean, yeah. Pia, I wanted to check in how you were doing, actually. I know you were 40 minutes late to the show. I assumed you were.
I know why. I know why. I know why. So he was popping the champagne bottle. He was having a little bubble bath. He was doing a little celebration. He was doing a little celebration over there because on Twitter, Spencer goes, I should have listened to Pio and bought more ETH or bought more Bitcoin instead of holding ETH.
I was stunned when this popped up in my notifications. I actually was absolutely stunned. I did not have a champagne related celebration and bubble bath this morning, but I was totally stunned. No, on Mondays, I just generally either take the day off from the show or come late because there's usually a lot of people on the show. It's like Kix is here, Signal's here, and then like, Nick, Easy. But then coming here, I was pleasantly surprised that there's not that many people. So it's actually good that I came.
Honestly, coming from Spencer, that is like, dude, I mean, he has absolutely killed it this year. No, sorry, not this year, but like in the last 24 months on the assets he accumulated in the bear and the moves he made when everybody was like, what the hell are you doing buying penguins? And just like being so aggressive in a bear. And for him, and like Spencer is like very strong-headed, right? He has his view, and he's not somebody like who sways easily, which is why I like him, because he often has a contrarian view. You think he's crazy, and he turns out to be right. Much kind of like a bit like Pio. Like he has his view, like he sticks with it, and he has strong conviction in this one thing. So for Spencer to come out, Pio, and say you're right, I'm like, bravo. You should get the champagne out, get the Dom. Get the French stuff, not the American sparkling wine. I'm talking about the good stuff.
Well, I agree with you that he was insanely aggressive buying all the Penguins, which is just like a crazy, insane move during that time period. And obviously, I'm assuming it worked out. I don't know how he played it, but I'm assuming it worked out quite well. But to be clear, being like really big on Bitcoin and MicroStrategy is not a contrarian view at all. It's literally.
It is PO because no, it is. And I tell you why, because while Bitcoin is extremely clear right now, I still see so much of my timeline as to like why MicroStrategy will fail coming from all these people on CT
more than
who,
Bitcoin.
yeah, but it just feels like people on the internet who have no business experience, who've never run a company, or at least in the, they never told us they've run a company to the scale of having it listed on the stock market, being like, yeah, this is why he's going to fail, and I still think like what he's doing now, people haven't sort of connected the dots, and it's going to be one of those things that plays out in the next 4 or 5 years, so being like, that was so obvious. It is still contrarian to be so aggressive into MicroStrategy.
I'll agree with you on the MicroStrategy. As I said it, I was like, actually, I think Sig's right about that one. Bitcoin is not contrarian. That is just so easy. That's easy mode. But yeah, even a lot of Bitcoin people do not get MicroStrategy. All crypto people don't get it. Like pretty much all crypto people. I see random ass Black Swan. He's going to get liquidated like over and over again. It's insane. So just to quickly explain this, and
Yikes.
I won't go off on this. So basically, people are acting like this is a bad thing. This is from an initial, basically tapping into STRK, that new vertical, which is the third vertical of liquidity that he's able to tap into. So he's just kind of casually snagging 130 Bitcoins. He's got the $21 billion ATM offering from STRK incoming. So we're talking about $21 billion worth of Bitcoin incoming. It's just funny to me that people are like, oh, he only bought 130. He's going to do what he's going to do. That's why I don't do these poly market bets, right? That's why it's like, I'm not doing the poly market bet on how much Bitcoin he's buying. No one knows. No one knows how much. If you're betting on that poly market bet, you are a degen gambler, period.
We would have hit the yes on this one.
That's easier.
2% chance on that can't be right.
Weird activity there. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, we should maybe have Spencer back on the show to figure out how he's operating right now. If he's holding a bunch of ETH, that's probably what prompted the tweet. I remember years ago, in the throes of Spencer making all those great moves when he was on the show, he said that Bitcoin was going to fail because of like the fee structure. And I just remember at the time being like, good God, man, like this is crazy talk right here, But I had to put up with a lot of crazy talk years ago, guys. There was a lot of crazy bullshit talked about on the show when it came to Bitcoin. And I get fired up about it. And people are like, he's crazy. Like that was some weird shit going on. But anyway.
What a dumbass.
Somebody needs to like overlay like the weird stuff. I want to see like Pio's face in the background when people are saying this and just show like the Bitcoin dominance chart just slowly going up and then Pio slowly like firing back more and more as Bitcoin becomes like more and more dominant and like it's proved right. I'd really want to see that.
I really used to have to listen to crazy talk. And like one person would say something crazy and then someone else would be like, alas, I agree with that crazy talk. And I was like, this is insane. Oh, by the way, look at my chafe on my arm from wing foiling.
Oh my God.
What's wing foiling?
Yeah, what?
I didn't know what it was either. I'm a wing foiler now, Sig.
What is that?
Ray, you got some wing foiling?
I have no idea what wing foiling
dominance
is.
instead. Pull up some wing dominance.
Wing foiling. Oh, you were doing some water, whatchamacallit, some wind surfing.
Wing foiling.
Like kite surfing.
So it's okay. So it's like kite surfing, except you're so it's like windsurfing. Basically, you're hanging onto this kite attached to a board, except they added so that's the wing. That's windsurfing. What wing foiling is it's a different type of board, right, Pio?
I think so. I don't know. Clemente is the water sports guy, but basically there's a foil under the board. And so it makes it so that the people that do this, I didn't know it was physically possible, but my friend sent me a video after we did our session. They go up like 80 feet in the air and do backflips and shit. I don't understand that at all. I was just trying to stand on the board, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Were you able to ride it all?
Pio's trying to do stand-up paddleboarding with a wing, but he can't stand yet. But so basically it's like kite surfing, but you don't go as high up as you do with, you go much higher basically with wing.
Ray, real quick.
Kite surfing.
Yeah, pull up more pictures real quick. Then we'll move on from this. But real quick, pull up more pictures
video right now.
or a video of wing foiling.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, Sig, the way the board is set up is that you elevate like 2-3 feet in the air, which is like pretty interesting. So I did it from my knees, Clemente. I was able to do the knees. I didn't get to this point yet, as you can imagine. But see how cool that is?
No, that's cool. That's very cool.
I can't do that shit. I don't know how they do that stuff.
Theo, if you're standing up, how did you get those bruises on your arm if you're just standing?
I didn't get to standing. It was my first time. So you have to get to like just being able to foil a little bit from your knees. But when you're getting up on the board, you can chafe if you're not wearing a wetsuit up top. And I was only wearing a wetsuit on the bottom. I mean, the fact that these guys are zipping through the air like that is nuts. I mean, that's crazy. But yeah, anyway.
They make it look easy, and yeah, it's like surfing. Like you think you can do it, like mentally, you've seen it so many times in the movies. You're like, when you first go out, you're like in your head, you're like, yeah, I've got this. And then when you actually get on the board, you're like, oh, okay, even standing up is a lot harder than you think. So I understand how you get the bruises and the marks of a wing foiler.
Yeah.
A knee wing foiler.
So anyway, back to crypto. Look.
Yeah, sorry. Back to crypto, Peter. On this point of Michael Saylor, sorry, hold your thought. This is the last thing I wanted to say. A lot of people don't know Saylor's background and when he's gone big in his bets. And his last big bet was mobile, and he went big. He took the bet on mobile being big when literally we were all still on dial-up internet and like the iPhone was not out. The BlackBerry probably just appeared, and he went so hard into it. He was like, I'm all in. He made the correct bet and he made an absolute fortune. Point being is this guy, he takes a really long-term perspective. He was never going to think that, oh, okay, I'm going to make an absolute fortune from mobile in the next 5 years. He's thinking, okay, mobile will take over in the next 25 to 30 years. Like that's his outlook. And he's thinking exactly the same with Bitcoin. So even though everyone is talking about what Pio is saying, he's going to get liquidated, blah, blah, blah. This guy, his bet is that I am right in the next 30 years. And I think if you think like that, you understand why he believes MicroStrategy will be the best company on the planet. And everyone will look back and be like, duh, I was there. I was on the timeline. I heard people talk about it and I never took the bet. I think sometimes you have to like understand the entrepreneurial's previous ventures, their successes, their failures, to understand why they make such huge conviction bets. And even though one might not understand like all the finance behind it and what he's trying to do, like sometimes it's just about believing in someone and their capability of like, do you think they're going to pull this off? And I think Saylor will. In the next 25 to 30 years, I think he will.
Yeah, and I mean he's doing the most interesting stuff in corporate finance maybe ever right now. But anyway, I don't want to stay focused on that because I'm going to be ramping up the amount of podcast episodes that I have. It's trending towards, remember that guy Andrew that came on, Ray?
Yes.
And I think I'm going to be doing a weekly pod with him. So there will be a lot of intelligent discussion, dare I say it, happening on that pod. And I'm having Retire on Dividends, so I think might be in the audience right now, come on tomorrow morning to think about options trading and learn more about options trading. But I found out the guy doesn't have a mound of Bitcoin. So I got to talk to him about that. I think he's in the audience right now. If he doesn't have Bitcoin, he's going to get a little school session from me on why you need to have Bitcoin.
The Bitcoin freight train's coming for you, Retire on Dividends. It's coming. There's no stopping that freight train.
Ray, I'm going to do that one without you. It's at 6:30 a.m. So,
so this isn't the 11 a.m. one?
What's the 11 a.m. one?
I see
the options trader.
Yeah.
Oh shit. So I'm doing 2 tomorrow. Okay. I didn't even know that. All right. So we're going off tomorrow. Oh, here he is. He's saying, bring it to the Bitcoin freight train. I like to hear that. So anyway, here's the deal. The way I'm thinking about the kind of broader crypto market. Well, I'm curious. Easy tweeted that he thinks Bitcoin's going back to 69K. You think he's washed on that?
Yes.
I think he wants some clickbait. I think Easy wants some clickbait for the timeline. Look, if Easy says that we're going to chop down, I believe him because he is often extremely good with TA. Him and Nick are extremely good with TA. So I believe that we could easily chop down. Do I think we chop down to 69? I think that's a bit of clickbait. Come on.
That would be intense.
That's intense. That's a lot. That's a lot from here.
You know, it's easy to accumulate Bitcoin right now. I just want to say it. I've been buying like $100 at a time. It adds up really fast. You get to like 0.01 Bitcoin really fast. You get to 0.02 Bitcoin really fast. If you sprinkle in like a $300 buy, it like supercharges it. Saylor had an interview recently where he said it's a joke that you can buy Bitcoin for 84K right now. And I really, really think that that's the case. Like, it's a joke how easily anybody that has even a mediocre job can rack up like 0.1 Bitcoins right now. It's nuts. Like, you can just get 0.1 Bitcoin right now casually, like gradually just buy a little bit at a time. It's pretty nuts. It's like a risk-free, like it's a low-risk way to do it with the $100, $200 buys at a time. But anyway, I'm looking at when I want to see Sol BTC. That's the most interesting chart for me in the whole. What's so funny, Clemente?
No. Just keep going.
Why are you laughing?
No, because I actually agree. I agree with it.
And that's funny.
It's just the way you present it. Like, yo, it's so easy right now. Can you believe how easy it is? All you need is $10,000 and you can get 0.12 Bitcoin right now. Like, can you believe it? If you have $84,000, you can get 1 Bitcoin, folks. Look at that.
Look how easy it is.
Yeah.
Look how easy. 1 Bitcoin. 84K.
It is easy. It is easy. Anyway, so real quick. So the Sol BTC chart is the most interesting chart for me. Wait, did we just get completely beyond rinsed on that stupid meme coin that we bought, the everything is computer that I think I still didn't sell?
Yep, I'm holding to.
Oh my God, dude.
Don't worry, everything is still computer.
You can't do. I can't with that shit. Like,
I can't.
You have to be in and out.
5%.
Yeah, you can't buy those.
Dude, that was so. I hate that. That's 2 Sol to 0.4 Sol.
The thing is, yeah, one of these times it's going to be the fart coin that goes from 2 Sol to 200 Sol. So you only need to win 1 out of 100 times there to break even.
Spoken like a true meme coin gambler's addict there, Ray.
Exactly. So what about the Sol BTC chart are you watching, Pio?
If it's just going to be the same thing as the Sol, as the ETH BTC chart, because I got this big sack of Sol and I have to figure out what I'm going to do with it. If it becomes, so by the way, Warren Buffett, they're selling their whole real estate vertical over at Berkshire Hathaway. They're selling their whole real estate vertical. I'm telling you, real estate is washed. I'm telling you, it's washed. People think that they're buying Bitcoin when they buy these houses in cash. They're like, I'm buying Bitcoin. I don't know what Bitcoin is, but that's what I think I'm doing. I'm telling you, Bitcoin is going to eat real estate. Eat it. Like, just crush it and eat it. Man, like, I feel like if you buy a house right now as an investment, you're just going to get completely rinsed against Bitcoin, like to an aggressive level. And so anyway, I'm stuck here with this Sol. I got 1,100 Sol. Even if it goes back to $300 but the Sol BTC chart is ass, then I should have bought Bitcoin, or I should have sold it for Bitcoin long ago. So then if I sell the Solana, I'm stuck with all this cash. What do I do with it? Because Bitcoin's already gone to like 220K or something. Man,
it's so easy to buy. So easy to buy some right now.
To buy Solana? Yeah, it is easy to buy Solana right now. It's very easy.
Just like that.
Just buy Bitcoin.
$120. You can get a Solana. Holy shit.
It's very easy to buy Solana right now. It's very easy to buy a lot of things right now.
So ETH BTC broke below March 2021 levels. Looking at the Sol BTC 2021 levels, I'd be interested to see like where that occurred. I mean, that's like, yeah, I mean,
so check it out. So obviously there's the first Solana run from like $2 to like 200, that's actually the most insane run. And then you look at that second run, which we all felt that run happening at the time. And then where is that right there? March 2024. What happened then?
That was Trump right here. Or wait.
No.
March 24. That was maybe Sol ETF news or something.
Nope. There was no Sol ETF news. March 2024.
That's the
Do you know what it is? Are you guessing?
I have no idea.
It might be when meme coins on Solana first started mattering at all. Do you know what I mean? Like at all. Like early Sol meme coins. 1 year ago.
That was during the choose rich era.
Yeah, it's actually the choose rich coin. That because the choose rich coin, the first celebrity meme coin, That actually makes sense. Yeah, choose your chair. Yeah.
Yeah, we got real estate talk with Eduardo Armando Escobar, throwing some jabs back at Pio about real estate.
Yeah, I know that guy. He works in real estate, so that's why I met that guy. You did too, Clemente. So shout out to that guy. He's cool. But that doesn't change that Bitcoin's going to body real estate, like absolutely pulverize it. Like, oh my god, it's going to demonetize the shit.
What's telling is like the face melting run of Solana to like all-time highs didn't even break local highs on the Sol BTC chart.
Exactly.
That makes me really nervous about holding Solana versus holding Bitcoin.
Look at that. Told you. Because it's just like, it's like this behemoth. If you fight against Bitcoin, it's like fighting against Magnus Carlsen in chess. It's just not good. You just don't win. Like, you don't win. The only thing that can outperform Bitcoin is MicroStrategy, because it's a baked in Bitcoin strategy and you get the multiple. So yeah. So anyway, we're never going to go to a new Sol BTC all-time high. It's never going to be there will not be a new all-time high, period. The chart is going to look like Ethereum. It just is. How could it ever make a new all-time high? How? Like, it's just not. Oh God.
Do you think we see another altcoin season where we see Bitcoin dominance break this below this 36% level, or do you think that never happens either?
I don't know anything about this. I don't study this. I don't know anything about this. I've read nothing about this. I don't know this chart at all. I would like to see an altcoin season where stuff goes crazy, because I think other things like SWI could maybe make a new all-time high against Bitcoin. I want to see what AVAX does. You know, these things are interesting. I don't know shit about this chart, so I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, this is basically altcoin season here, is where like dominance went down 44% during the altcoin season between January 2021 and May 2021, where things leveled off. Yeah, it's just hard to imagine we see another run like that. Just with even though we have this like extreme volume of new coins, it feels like just capital is just rotating to Bitcoin at a faster pace than ever from institutions and sovereign nations at this point, that I don't see a world where like retail can like outpace them in these altcoins. And I don't see sovereign nations and investment firms like really jumping into altcoins at the pace we've seen with Bitcoin. But new regulations, new ETFs, who knows? But I just can't see like a crazy altcoin season happening again because of that.
It'd be cool if there was one. And it would be cool if like there was a crazy NFT season that went along. Well, there will be crazy crypto shit. Like, it's not going to just be Bitcoin for, like, it's just not. It's not how it works. But like holding an ass load of Solana when you know that the Solana BTC chart is never going to make a new all-time high it gives me a weird feeling. And I'm like, oh, cool. Well, I'm glad I missed it. Like, really, I wasn't paying enough attention to that chart at all for the past year. And I only started paying attention to it, I'd say post-Trump, because it became clear that a new all-time high was borderline out of the question. I talked to CZ about it. Yeah, CZ. I talked to Easy about it, and he was like, just let it work. And I was like, what? Like, what does that mean? Just let it work. I was like, okay, I don't really know what that means, but we'll try that. We'll see. Anyway. Oh, Hayden, did you guys talk about the Hayden coin?
I didn't yet. I actually didn't even think it was worth talking about. The Wolf of Wall Street coin. So essentially what happened is Hayden Davis, the guy who launched Libra behind Kelsier Ventures, on the run. Interpol is a warrant out for his arrest. He launched another like similar coin in Wolf, like basically the Wolf of Wall Street guy, Jordan, I can't remember his last name.
Jordan Belfort.
Jordan Belfort.
Yeah. So like saying it's going to be his coin, it picked up some traction. I believe like the Wall Street Bets Twitter account picked it up and it did a ton of volume, and he basically rugged millions again with this new coin. What did you want to talk about it, Pia? I just want to like mention how absurd it is, or
is he an international criminal actually?
Well, if Interpol is after you, I'm pretty sure that puts you on the international scale, right?
Is that real?
I believe the Argentinian lawyer requested for him to be put on the Interpol list, but I don't know if he actually is on the Interpol list.
Man, that must feel weird if you're Hayden Davis.
Yeah, you're in some trouble. I don't know what you do. What do you do if you're on Interpol? Like, what's your strategy? I want to hear Clemente. What's your strategy? You're being hunted by Interpol. What are you doing? You have millions of dollars.
Well, you got to leave the States for sure. You have to go to a different a country with non-extradition rules. I think there's a list of a bunch that you can go to, but I would be leaving ASAP. I would not be in the United States right now. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I love that. Clemente's like, I don't know which countries. And he probably has a tattoo on the back with a list of the countries that he cannot get extradited from. Come on, Clemente, don't lie.
They got some good ones. Taiwan, Morocco, Botswana, Vatican City, Bolivia. Don't go to Bolivia. Do not go to Bolivia. If there's one non-extradition country you can go to, do not go to Bolivia. Holy shit, they're cooked.
Bolivia?
Yeah, you're just cooked.
Thailand? But I don't know if Thailand is. But on White Lotus this season, it's in Thailand, and they're touching upon the like criminal past stuff. Sick season, by the way. Sick, like super sick season. If anyone's watching it, it's sick. It might be better than the second one. It's fire.
Oh man, I heard they changed the theme song, so I'm a little hesitant to start it.
But they bring the theme song back in the episodes a little bit. So it's not totally gone. It's still around. Daddy Nick, get out of here, bro. It's fire. It's fire. I don't want to hear it. White Lotus season 3 is fire. Yep. OX Fetty's on the same page.
Yeah, a lot of comments about White Lotus here. Interesting.
One more thing about TV. Severance, so trash. It's unbelievable. I can't believe it got that much hype. So garbage.
I've never gone near it. Someone just brought up Sam Rockwell's monologue on White Lotus. It's really good. It's actually crazy. I was like, wow, this acting is nuts. And the writing
is like last year's Succession, PO. Do I need to be watching it?
Have you watched season 1 of White Lotus?
No.
Yes, you have to watch the whole thing.
It's good. White Lotus is good.
It's fire. I don't just say this. Succession's good too, obviously, but White Lotus is pretty crazy. Season 1 is probably better than season 2, and season 3 is really good, but we'll see how it ends. The ending is a big part of it because it's like a murder mystery. We'll see what happens. This guy, Sam Rockwell, pulling up yesterday on the show, had an insane, absolutely insane monologue. That was crazy shit. And Walton Goggins acted his ass off against it. I wrote a sketch for Clemente. I sent it to Clemente. He did not give me any commentary on it. I'm not surprised. Clemente hates when I send him scripts, and he hates acting in them, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I
absolutely hates it.
I don't mind it.
See, look, he's not pushing back hard.
It's because I didn't read it. I was out and about on when you sent it to me, and I didn't get a chance to read it again.
I may try to get you to help me with this the thing I sent you earlier, just to be on the other side of a Zoom call for it. So a little Ray and Clemente acting today potentially.
Really?
Potentially.
Clemente's a diva now. He's got a big ego.
No.
Yeah, he does. When I bring up doing sketches like that, Clemente's energy is basically like, chill. Chill. I'm going to use my iPhone and do something that takes 30 seconds. Chill. He's like, you're trying to do something good. Chill. Seriously.
Oh, man. We've been running out. We've got it.
It's going to take 35 minutes to make that chill.
We're going to give one more shout out to the partner of today's show, Awaken Tax. You can sign up now at awaken.tax. Now, awaken.pro. They're doing more than just taxes. I'm pulling up my year-over-year taxes because I just think this is fun to look at how profitable
raise taxes
have been year-over-year. There's no numbers here. I guess there are some numbers here, but but looking at like the different years and seeing which year is a bear versus a bull, seeing like the huge reds in 2023, seeing the eggplant summer of 2024 when things are down, and looking at the different taxes is pretty fun there. You can look at all these wallets. You can add all your accounts. I don't know why they're not showing up. See all your transactions here. You can go into your transactions. They mark most of them for you. I have 15,000 and change transactions. I only need to go through 100 transactions, which is a game changer in terms of tax preparation. So this is huge, absolutely huge. Only have to go through 103 transactions out of all my wallets. Absolutely wild, like the amount of time I'm saving using this. I'm very happy that we partner with them. Very happy that I'm using this platform for taxes for this year. If you want to sign up, you can use the code BODOGGOS to get 20% off of your purchase at awaken.tax or awaken.pro, their new domain. If you own a Bodoggo, go into the Discord. We have a 30% code for holders. So jump into the Discord, you can get that 30% off code. That being said, thank you all for joining. It's been another wonderful episode of the show on this Monday. We do this Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. You can catch us on major podcasting platforms, Spotify, Apple. Watch us back on YouTube. See what we're talking about in real time. Give us a like, give us a retweet, give us a bookmark. Help us out on the Twitter Spaces side. Thank you all for listening. Have a wonderful Monday.